Okay, let's look at scatterplots. Scatterplots are a graph of ordered pairs, the x and the y, where the x is the independent variable and the y is the dependent variable. We also call x the explanatory variable or the predictor variable, and we call y the response variable. The purpose of a scatterplot is to determine if there is an association between two variables. So let's now just look at some examples of scatterplots. So let's look at this one. Here we have on the x-axis, so the independent variable, miles driven, say of a car, and the tire tread depth. So basically how good your tires are, how deep the tread is. So, and if these were actual scatter plots, we'd have numbers here for miles, say, 100, 200, 300, or 1,000, something like that. Let's say 1,000. 1,000 miles down here, 2,000, 3,000. Here we'd have the depth of the tire tread, okay? So here at about 1,000 miles, well, we have a deep tire tread, okay? Well, here we have at, say, 2,000 miles, much less of a tire tread, but we're assuming that these are different kind of cars we're looking at. Okay, so what we're seeing here is a trend that the more miles we drive, the more we lose tread, the less tread we have. So we'd call this kind of scatter plot, we'd call the data, well, this is basically linear, right? It's basically going in a straight line like this one. Well, this looks a little curved like this, okay? We'd say that the data is, well, it's kind of moderately tightly grouped, right? It's not just all in one line here. That would be a very strong association. Here it's kind of, well, scattered a little bit all over the place here, but you can still see a trend here. Okay, the trend is going to be negative, okay? And we'll say that the association is just moderate. It would be weak if it was just all over the place, it would be hard to see kind of a straight line. It would be strong, like this might be strong because it's all kind of tightly grouped. This might be more weak down here, okay? Okay, so let's continue now. Okay, describing scatter plots, the three components. Okay, so the direction, well, is it positive? And think back to slope in Algebra 1. Slope is positive if it's going up from left to right. Okay, it's negative if it's going down from left to right. And really, slope and association are really talking about exactly the same things here. So positive if it's going up from left to right, negative if it's going down from left to right. The form of the association, it's linear if it's basically a straight line. And here, okay, if it might be curved. This would be curved, this would be curved. Okay, this would be curved going in a positive direction, okay? And actually this would be curved going in a positive direction also. This would be negative, right? This would be linear or straight line from left to right going down, all right? And here we have the strength of association. Well, here we have a strong because all the data is tightly grouped. Here moderate because it's looking a little more like a cloud. It's not so tight. And here it's weak because it's kind of all over the place. Okay, so let's look at some examples. Again, let's go back to our examples. So this one would be, well, negative, moderate. The strength would be moderate. And it would be basically linear. Okay, basically going like this. Okay, so this would be positive, it would be curved, and I would call it strong. The association would be strong. Let me see if I can go down a little bit here. Yes, okay, very good. Okay, so let's look at this. Well, this would be negative. Okay, the direction would be negative, and it would be, I would say, moderate. It's close to being strong, close to being tightly grouped, but it's not so tightly grouped. And I would call it curved instead of linear. Here, this would be a weak association. I would say it's probably positive and it's probably linear, but I would call it weak.